was quite the flash to the past. Some old-time Cougars. Good to see them once again in our open of Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football here on WYLN. Brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute. I'm Marty Burns. I'll be joined once again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman. This week we'll have a special guest from the Cougar football team, a segment of Timeout, look back at a tough loss at North Pocono, and a look ahead to a very tough game coming up back at Harmon Stadium against the Wolfpack of Wilkes-Barre area. That's all this week on Sports Talk.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton. Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on WYLN, your weekly source for Hazleton area high school football. I'm Marty Burns, joined once again by Hazleton area head football coach Dennis Buchman. And Coach, before we get to that tough loss, your first road game of the season against North Pocono, some tough news in the coaching profession, and I know you guys all have a unique bond between each other, even though you guys are at different schools and you may develop rivalries. It was tough hearing that Coach Bennett had to step away for the time being at Berwick due to some health reasons, and I know we all want to say wish Coach Bennett the best, but just talk about that bond that you guys have as coaches.
Sure. First of all, with Coach Bennett, Coach Orlando, the entire Berwick area there, nothing but class act people. Certainly, I personally reached out to both of them and just wanted to let them know that they're in our thoughts and prayers here at Hazleton. Certainly there's a rivalry there between Hazleton and Berwick, but it goes far beyond that. When you truly do this for the right reasons, and that's for our kids, you wear a lot of this on your heart because you truly care, and it goes far beyond wins and losses. It's just everything that's involved. But why do we do this? Because we love our kids. We love our community. Certainly there with Coach Bennett stepping away for the time being, hopefully we see him by week 10 when we play them. But also I know everybody in Berwick knows that Berwick football is in great hands with Coach Orlando stepping in right now and leading the charge.
And we just wanted Coach Ben to know that we're thinking of him here up on the mountain here in Hazleton. But Coach, back to your team. First road game of the year, a tough test against North Pocono, came away with a tough loss. Couple thoughts. It seems like you're getting to the point with your team that I know there's no moral victories and there's no good losses, but almost maybe learning opportunities of learning what you have to do to finish to get that victory.
Certainly. First of all, let me say this: we have incredible kids. When you have guys reaching out to me on Saturday to see if I'm okay in terms of our players, you have really special kids. Some messages, some conversations I had this weekend, players just talking about, how much they love, first of all, their teammates, their brothers. They love our program. They love myself, our staff. That's what this is all about. I can tell you this right now, if I ever had a son, I'd want him to play in a football program like ours. And I truly mean that. And I'm so proud of every one of our guys in terms of how we never give in, never give up. Now, as you said, we've gotten to the point in our program that we don't believe in moral victories. Right. But what I will say to that as well is the adversity we've had to overcome so far this year, whether it be, those freak type of injuries that you can't control no matter how you prepare, or whether it be, some unfortunate balls that bounce or don't bounce our way, or whatever the case is. The first 3 weeks, we've answered scores. We've gotten some key stops when we needed them. We've changed field position in the kicking game. I told our guys we came in, on Sunday together, and you look at the yardage that we're putting up on offense. You're looking at the points that we're putting up, and we're still leaving points on the board. Mm-hmm. You're looking at the way that we're continuing to get better and evolve defensively, and certainly in the third phase in the specials game as well. It's time now for everything to come together. It certainly isn't going to be easy with a tremendous opponent point in Wilkes-Barre, coming to Harmon Guy Stadium. But I mean, truly, I'm just so proud of our players, our program, our staff, and we know what we're building here at Hazleton area. Certainly the product speaks for itself, and just the grit and the toughness that our kids play with, compete with, the practices that we have, the way we prepare. Every time I have an opportunity to come to Harmon Guy Stadium and be with our kids, I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. They truly are my family. We don't just speak that, we live that. And as you said, these last 2 weeks we're 2 or 3 plays away from being undefeated, but the bottom line is we're not. So we got back up Sunday together, and we started to clean up and correct our mistakes, and now prepare and get ready for Wilkes-Barre.
And we had touched a little bit on it last week. Brady Mazenko, the Sandman, got back over 100 yards Friday night, but you got over 100 yards rushing from Austin Wilson. The threat of a running quarterback, we see it so often. Either you put too much attention defensively on the quarterback and his threat to run, or you don't account for him and he gets big chunks of yardage. Just talk about that added threat that Austin brings to your offense.
First of all, just the way Austin Wilson has played so far this year in 3 games in a scrimmage is truly remarkable. There were certainly a lot of doubters on the outside. Mm-hmm. I think, when you replace a Tyler Wolf, and rightfully so. But all Austin Wilson has done since the moment he knew it was his time was answer the call, whether it be in the weight room in his preparation, whether it be in the field in our speed program, whether it be, in the spring and summer getting better in our passing game and being able to understand and grasp the offense. He's done nothing but continue to progress here. It was nice to be able to showcase his athleticism on Friday, and truly it adds another dimension now. When you have Brady Mazenko, I mean, we ran for over 300 yards on Friday. Mm-hmm. We had over 400 yards of offense again. We're well over 1,000 yards in 3 games offensively here. But when you can showcase Austin Wilson's legs and his athleticism, along with the Brady Mazenkos of the world and the other young skill guys that are just getting better and better, and you continue to gel and mold a young offensive line. We started a sophomore at center this week, and he did a tremendous job, and we're going to continue to get better. Why? Because of the excellent leadership we have. We don't have many seniors, but I said from day one, those seniors are so valuable to what we're doing right now just because of how much they believe, how much they love each other, how much they truly believe in the 3 pillars that we preach every day in terms of trust, love, and commitment.
And let's get a look at those highlights from Friday night. As we have all season, we'll start with the offense. I believe we're going to start with a running play.
Absolutely here. We have Brady Mazenko working inside zone here. What a great job. I mean, Brady, just the year he's had, he has over 500 yards rushing in 3 games. It's truly remarkable, and it's a testament to his preparation in the offseason.
And as he mentioned when we had talked to him after the Pittston area game, as we get a look at Austin Wilson here using his legs, but he had talked about how he wouldn't get hit immediately, and what a credit that is to your offensive line.
Sure. Our offensive line, you talk about our offensive line and protection here now. Austin Wilson being able to deviate from the pocket, get to a landmark, throw a ball to Yo-Yo Moran. Once again, look at the protection here. What a play here to work his back hip. Brady Mazenko making a play, proving his athleticism as well. He's not just a big physical runner, but look at the time Austin has. This is a third and mid here that we have to complete on our first drive that leads to this score here from Brady Mazenko. I just love the energy and the passion our kids play with. They don't care who scores. It's a team score. They believe in team. They believe in family, and you see it displayed time and time again.
And as you've always talked about so often, you get these big runs, but a lot of it is the guys up front, your tight end. And then I know you always love to comment on the receivers downfield that are laying blocks.
Absolutely. You talk about a true team here. You see a big-time run from Brady Mazenko once again on this play. You see guys continuing to be able to work downfield, make plays, and create vertical run lanes up front. It's just truly incredible here. Just the plays that we make time and time again. Austin Wilson here working to his right, coming back to his left. Big first down play there for him. Leads to another big time run here for Brady to get us in the tight red. We have here off of our jet motion, we have counter back away from it, from Brady. Austin, this is a 3rd and 23 play here. That is completed to Riley Van Gilst. Just big-time play after big-time play that we're seeing here as you talk about number 11.
And you talked about a lot of question about number 11, but there was also a lot of question about the guys you put in the receiver ranks after the talent that you lost last year due to graduation. And we're starting to see a young man say, like Riley Van Gilst, step up week after week and hitting the highlight sheet more and more.
Absolutely. And, almost all these guys that we're talking about, they're all young. They're all underclassmen. They're continuing to develop. Some of these guys are just scratching the surface in terms of their football knowledge here. Another big-time play there. Great block by Brian Calcano, Peter Youngcourt on stretch. Brady Mazenko once again here, carrying defenders with him. Another tremendous vertical running lane for him, too.
And here we see Austin Wilson showing off his legs.
A great block on the edge, too, from Xander Coleman. Brady Mazenko. So you talk about Brady Mazenko, 32 carries, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Biggest block downfield there to score for Austin Wilson.
And here we see one of the big plays of the night.
There's just over a minute left. We're down by 3. You talk about resiliency. Carlos Gonzalez downfield making 2 defenders collide into each other with a big time block. Austin creasing this play here from our own 3-yard line. You talk about effort. If this doesn't display it here, if this doesn't make you excited about the kids in our program, just because the way that they never give in and never give up, I truly don't know what will. I'm just so proud of our kids. I told you before we came on the show and we were talking with Peter, the progress we've made from the winter to spring to summer, now summer to fall, it's truly remarkable.
And now we transition to the defense. And as always, Coach, you're not wearing the red in this game, but a lot of white getting to the football.
Absolutely. A player's commitment to his teammates on defense is where he is when the whistle blows and the defensive play is over. You see a lot of white jerseys here to the football consistently, and that's just a testament to our players and our coaches, and I'm just so proud of them. They continue to compete. They are 1,000% bought in, and they just love coming out and playing for one another.
And one aspect that I like about your defense, because sometimes, you get the phrase playing with your hair on fire, and sometimes you're not staying in your lanes, you're not staying with your assignments. Your team not only swarms to the football, but they're staying with their assignments.
Absolutely. Just trusting being one of 11, right? Trusting your job, trusting the job that your teammates are going to be able to do. And that comes from culture. That comes from buy-in. That comes from guys who want to continue to get better. You have Sebastian Navarre here. He's never played a varsity football game before in his life until this point, and he's going and playing through indicators now, making plays in the vertical pass game. So just guys who are continuing to get better, hungry to get better, and as you see highlight after highlight here, whether it's offense, defense, in the kicking game, in the special teams game, whatever it is, you just have a lot of young men who just make me so proud.
And not to take anything away from that defensive play that Sebastian made, but we also saw, again, your front getting pressure on the quarterback.
Absolutely. Guys knew they had to step up when, Robbie Anderson went down. We were already playing without Gabe Boris, who was a guy who got time last year on the varsity team, who's only a junior. So other guys such as Peter Youngcourt, Jordy Arena, Sebastian Reynoso, Aaron Loreno, Brian Calcano, Tommy King, all those guys, so on and so forth, Jeremy Ackerman. Those guys understood up front that they had big shoes to fill, not because of last year's group, but this year's group who were supposed to play and supposed to play meaningful snaps for us, who aren't with us, playing games now. So those guys, they took that as a challenge, and they also took that as an honor. when you talk about just the love we have in our program, and truly I mean that you can pull any kid you want in our program. They're excited every day to be there. You don't hear guys saying I have to go to football. You hear guys saying I get to go to football.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference, and that's not the way it is everywhere, and we're not concerned of anywhere else but us, but that's really special. And when you have guys who are playing for each other and eager to continue to make plays and want to get better and want to be coached, it makes the experience all that more enjoyable.
And you even get to see Coach Strummy every day. So
Absolutely. Which, listen, he's the highlight of my day. I'll tell you what, I couldn't do this without Coach Strummy. I say it all the time. They should build a statue for that man when he's done coaching. Almost 40 years in the profession. Yeah. What he's done for the kids in our community is truly remarkable. And I smile every time I see him, and I see him every day. I still smile every time I see him. I love him.
And another young man that's had a smile since he walked in through our studio doors, that's Peter Youngcourt. He'll be our guest after the timeout segment. Stay tuned. You're watching Sports Talk.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Welcome back to the third timeout segment of the year. I'm here with Dr. John. Dr. John, how's it going?
Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate doing these shows.
I love it. So we're going to talk about headaches because I know headaches derail everyday people, athletes, so it's a really important topic. So I know when I came to you, I got treated for headaches as well. So it's an everyday person thing.
One of the biggest, I think, misconceptions, everybody thinks headaches are from the head. I get so many women who go to a neurologist who does a CAT scan of their head. The brain is fine. 99% of headaches are from the neck. Number one, most people sleep on their stomachs. They twist their neck to breathe, they knock their neck out, and they get migraines 20 years later. So our job is to educate the patient. Never sleep on your stomach. Never crack and twist your own neck, because that's what those people do eventually. Or secondly, from trauma. Football injuries like we talked about last month, or even car accidents. The problem is people don't realize you could have a car accident 20 years ago. Yeah, doc, my head hit the windshield, but that was 20 years ago. It jammed up my neck. So my job now is to adjust the neck. If the neck is in proper alignment, blood supply is improved, so you could do it gently. You could do just a little bit at a time, Ryan. We even have an x-ray just to give you a quick understanding. So if we could look back here for a second.
And this is so easy to misplace in football, these vertebrae.
Yeah. Remember, so this is the skull. This is someone facing you. On a chiropractic x-ray, this top bone is called atlas. If that misaligns, it causes migraines. They could be cluster migraines or headaches. I don't care what name they give it. My job is to get a lateral or a side view x-ray, make sure that atlas, because most people, it rides up. The back, the posterior arch jams against the skull, causing pressure, a lack of oxygen to the brain. So very gently, we adjust it. It is such a beautiful thing, Ryan, when people say, John, I had a bottle of aspirin at the desk, at the school, and at the gym, and I threw all my aspirins away because now it takes about maybe 10 adjustments. Very gently, you get in alignment, headaches go away, no more pain medication.
Mm-hmm. And like we said, for football, it's so easy to just do that with one hit or something going wrong in the offensive line. But I'd like to thank Dr. John for joining us for another timeout segment. It's a pleasure as always, Dr. John.
Thank you, Ryan. It's a joy. The more I can help people understand their bodies, the better.
Mm-hmm. We certainly appreciate that. But we'll see you guys next time.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton. Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Welcome back to Sports Talk, your weekly source for Hazleton Area High School football. I'm Marty Burns, joined by Hazleton Area head football coach Dennis Buchman, and in between us, senior lineman on both the offensive and defensive lines, Peter Youngcourt. And Peter, thanks a lot for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me.
Pretty similar situation to our guest last week in Xander Coleman. You were a complimentary player last year. All of a sudden now you have to step up and be one of those senior leaders. Talk about that transition.
Well, I mean, the guys last year, they really showed me how to be a leader. They were really guiding with everything, and now I have to step up. I have to show the underclassmen how to be leaders, and I have to show them the way.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because Coach has talked about, not a lot of seniors on this roster, so that means this group of underclassmen are going to be pretty similar to your situation come next year, where they're going to have to be looked upon to leaders. Is there one specific thing that you're trying to stress to the younger players?
Just togetherness. Just stay together. Don't think about your own stats. Just think about the team.
Now, we talked about it with Coach. Your guys on the offensive line, you had seen significant time, but maybe not in the same positions that you're currently in. Just talk about how this offensive line has blended, and especially now with Robbie being out.
Well, now that Robbie's out, I mean, Jake comes in. He comes in and he steps up. In my opinion, he steps up. He's laying down blocks. He's laying down pancakes on offense. He's getting energy up at practice. The kid steps up. I don't know. Yeah, we have a bunch of guys coming up. They switch positions and everything. Everybody's just mentally locked in. Like we're ready to go.
And talk about your play defensively. Do you take anything that you use or maybe that you know as an indicator on the offensive line so that when you go on to the defensive line, maybe you're picking something up from the opposition?
Well, I mean, of course, on both sides of the ball, you use the way they have their weight pressured on their legs, everything that you can. Obviously, you want to know where the ball's going or know where that D lineman is going to go so you know how to get to your block easier. And, yeah, it helps play in two ways.
And you return home Friday night as part of your senior season. Now, all of a sudden, only 3 regular season home games remaining in your senior campaign. Talk about how special it is, especially when you get under the lights Friday night at home.
It's different. I mean, the community we have is great. I love the town. I love the stadium. I couldn't wish for anything better. I mean, it's every time I walk onto the field, it's like nothing I've ever experienced.
Well, Peter, thanks a lot for joining us this week. Good luck Friday night as you return home.
Thank you.
We finish up the show and talk about the Wolfpack right after this.
Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton. Sports Talk is presented in cooperation with Lehigh Valley Health Network, Hazleton.
Well, Coach, I've talked too much this show, so tell us about Ciro, Cinti, and the Wolfpack.
Sure. I mean, you talk about Wilkes-Barre, Coach Cinti, great staff, great players from up front on both sides of the football to certainly the athletes and skill players they have on the edges. The Howe kid at quarterback, he's one of the best quarterbacks in our conference and district here, and he's only a sophomore. So certainly they're good in all phases here, all 3 phases. We're going to have to play our best football game Friday, but we're excited. As I told you, we respect everybody, but we fear no one, and we're excited to come back to the den for Friday night.
Coach, best of luck Friday night.
Thank you so much. Go Cougars.
Go Cougars.
So for Peter Youngcourt, Coach Buchman, I'm Marty Burns saying so long. We'll see you next week for another edition of Sports Talk brought to you by the Lehigh Valley Orthopedic Institute.